Alright guys, today we have a different video. We have a squad builder featuring the new transfers for the 2020 season of MLS, if it ever continues. Now the players that we have here were all the players that I could get from the new transfers. Some were not available due to not being transferred, such as Wanyama, being extinct, such as Madron Stojanovic, or being from a league from which FIFA does not have the rights, such as the Brazilian League and João Paulo. So that was frustrating that about 30% of the player pool was unavailable to me. But the players that I did use, a lot of them were fun, a lot of them were total pieces of shit, a lot of them I'm hoping get special cards in the future. So I'm just going to go ahead and run through the players and give you the main highlights here. Bottom line, Kenneth Vermeer can keep up with Andre Blake. He felt very similar. He makes a crazy save that you'll see later in this video. He was fun to use. He's a little short, but he was quite impressive and definitely rivals Blake for the #1 spot in Major League Soccer. Back line, Christian Gutierrez, left back, surprisingly good, but not very fast, so I just don't see him making a lot of lineups. Winston Reed, probably my new favorite MLS center back aside from Iko Para. I think Winston Reed is better than Aaron Long. I think he's better than Gonzalez Pires. I think he's worth putting in your team if you're doing a full MLS lineup. Figal was okay, not really worth it. Alanis too slow, Wormgear too slow. However, Vito Wormgear was one of the best defensive MLS players I've used. He's just got 35 pace or something like that, so he's absolutely unusable. Right back was Sekulic. That really did not help. That was just painful. He didn't have a single stat in the 70s and was an absolute liability. If you can't tell, I lost a lot of these games and got destroyed. But some of these games, my guys put up a fight. We had fun. We won maybe a third of them. But it was definitely a good time. Now moving forward, we have our CDMs. The only midfielders in the middle that come under the attacking mids I could get my hands on was Tottenham Wanyama and Jimenez's classic card. Now the problem is that I just had to sub them on every game, and the other problem is that Jimenez absolutely sucked. Jimenez was terrible. He could not pass, he could not dribble, he's slow, he's not aggressive, not worth your time. Don't give him the time of day, even when you get your hands on the Chicago Fire card that is currently extinct. Wanyama, if he gets an MLS Montreal card anytime soon, I will immediately buy it and immediately plug him in my roster because he's so big, he's so strong, he's so aggressive, he's so fun to use, and surprisingly good. As far as the attacking mids, we have Siem de Jong, Rodolfo Pizarro, Hani Mukhtar, Edison Flores, and Lucas Zelarayan. Flores and Mukhtar were absolutely worthless. Zelarayan was okay sometimes. De Jong provided several assists, but not much else. And Pizarro was a disappointment because I was expecting the most out of him. If he got a special card, I'm sure he'd be pretty usable, but at this point, he just can't beat players or pass well enough. As far as the front five, it comprised Cavallini, Lucadia, Chicharito, Mora, and Beric. Now, Beric was easily the best player next to Chicharito. Chicharito was #1, but Beric was an easy #2. He was surprisingly good at finishing. He was surprisingly strong. And based on stats, the most shocking thing was his ability to beat defenders on the dribble. He was good at positioning, and he just absolutely killed it, banged in goals over and over and over. If he ever gets a special card, he needs to be tried by anyone who likes MLS. Lucadia was okay, but nothing special. Cavallini was huge, but could not dribble to save his life, so he is not worth it. And Felipe Mora was quite impressive. He could dribble, he could finish very well for being a silver card. I was very intrigued by him, and I had fun using him. But by far, Chicharito was the best striker. His dribbling was on point, his finesse shot was on point, his positioning was on point. He was just a solid quality player that I could see FIFA throwing a special card his way just for shits and giggles, and I would not complain about that at all. This team was kind of fun to use. I'd love to get my hands on other players like Alvaro Madron, even if he doesn't have good stats. I just want to be able to get more players that play central mid, center defensive mid, and defenders. It's really hard right now at the state of the game as far as not having a goalkeeper, not having the ability to fill out a back line that's usable. I don't know what to say about that, but what I do know is that this team was fun. I love using silvers and shitty MLS players. It's just an absolute blast because even if you're winning less games, beating your opponent is so satisfying, and you get to read all those messages about how scripting and handicap is taking over the game, and that's the only reason you won. Either way, they were fun to use, and the only players worth using at this point in the game are Wanyama and Winston Reed and Kenneth Vermeer. Other than that, look to the future. Thanks for watching, guys.
Well taken goal. Victor Wanyama. Bakari. Javier Hernandez. It's a shot now. Well, that should be the